on a personal level, I enjoy being around Tom. I really like Tom Aspinall. So if you hear me speak and it seems a little bit skewed, but there is something going on, and I'm wondering why, and it concerns me, and I stayed quiet about it, hoping it would go away. The weekend comes and goes. I hear about it again. I stayed quiet about it, hoping that it would go away. And now here we are, 3 for 3 in it. But it's not going away. We're going to have to address it. Here is today's headline. Oh, by our favorite writer, Jesse Holland. Tom Aspinall releases new eye doctor video. Guarded prognosis reveals long road ahead for the UFC champ. I'm reading you headlines. I haven't read the article, but there was an article yesterday and I did read it. And prior to the weekend and just after the holiday, there was an article and I did read it. So I feel that I'm boned up about it. And I will just share with you. I will just share with you some stories. Revealing your medical business to somebody has extremely limited advantages, particularly if it's something that ails you. There's very little advantage to letting somebody else know, particularly if you're anything short of Superman. Now, for whatever reason that you would elect to go and do that, is it going to make a difference? Right? If the car can't run, does it matter if the engine's blown or if it's just a tire that's out of air? One's going to be a week to fix and one's going to be 5 minutes. One's going to cost you thousands of dollars and you might even hope you have insurance, and the other's probably going to get done for free. But does it make a difference? You needed to get to an appointment and the car didn't run. Does it change things? For the person who's sitting in the meeting waiting for you to show up, for the person whose appointment that you didn't show up to, does it make a difference to them if the entire engine is blown or if the tire's flat? You got to the meeting or you didn't. Interesting analogy, but I know it's one that you guys will understand. But herein lies where it gets very strange for me when somebody starts putting out their injury reports, because you don't have a license to fight. There is no license to fight. I know you guys hear that term all the time. It's a privileged license. And no, that is not like when your parents tell you this is a privileged. No. It's legally called a privileged license, which means they don't have to give it to you. Jiri Procházka has got to be an example that no one in fighting ever forgets. Jiri Procházka was the champion of the world, and he won that belt in amongst the most grueling ways anybody has ever won a belt, over one of the best fighters and one of the most dramatic finishes in one of the great fights of all time. He had an MRI on his shoulder. He was misdiagnosed. The MRI that they released and made public, and the information they released and made public, which, by the way, the public never should have been told about, but we were, was wrong. It was wrong. And 7 days after that MRI, the belt had been taken off him and the replacement fight announced. It was wrong. He was misdiagnosed. When they found out he was misdiagnosed, he got right back in the gym. He got right back on social media. He got right back into the cage. And it wasn't for a title shot, for the very title that he had taken from him for inaccurate reasons. Now, I only offer that as an example. Like, you've got to be able to see those things, observe them, and learn from them. We have so many fighters that will come out after the fact and try to say they were hiding an injury. And there's 50 commissions in the U.S. before you get to tribal territories, just in the U.S. And 50 out of 50 has the same rule, and 50 out of 50 elects from the beginning of time to look the other way on this rule. But after you do all of the medical procedures, you must sign a form under penalty of perjury that you are not hiding an ailment. And you have fighters that come out and they say that they were. Whether I fought anyway, but this justifies my loss, or I fought anyway and I won in spite of, either way, they directly contradict a form signed by them under penalty of perjury, and nothing ever happens. But I'm sharing with you, I know people that can't read that have passed the eye exams. I know people that can't see that have read appropriately to pass the eye exams. I know that where there is a will, there is a way. And I know other guys that have wanted to fight. Other guys where that felt great and everything was great. Frankie just went through this. My favorite fighter, Frankie Edgar, something just happened with him. Where he had given some results and he gave some imaging and one person read it one way, but it cost the fight, and then they got a second opinion. They realized, hey, we have a different opinion, but the fight was already rebooked and was for somebody else. I mean, I'm just sharing with you to put out your medical information, to share that with anybody. A doctor doesn't have a benefit in clearing you. A doctor now has a potential malpractice for clearing you. So if you're the one out there telling the world that you got a blown engine and not just a flat tire, and now everything comes together, which means the money's right, and all of a sudden you start feeling better, right? 100% of the time, when you start needing the money, you start feeling better. But when you do that, you're not going to see a doctor, and he's going to say, but listen, you said all of these things. Yeah, doc, but you're looking. You can see those aren't true. Yeah, well, no, not all of them. Some of them I need the patient's word. I need the patient to tell me how they're feeling. And I read all of these things about you, and if you're feeling any one of those, I can't sign off on this. Because if after the fight, once you deposit that money, you don't keep feeling so good, you can come back on me. So here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to not clear you, but I'm not going to clear you. I'm going to act as though you were never in my office today. Simply go find another doctor. We'll leave it at that. And the guy does. And that doctor, too, has Google. And it's a very risky game. And when you have doctors that are coming out saying that you're not cleared and they don't have a prognosis as to when you will be cleared, it would not be inappropriate to take the belt off of you. And if anybody would know that, it's the guy that got the belt without competition. Ever being locked in a cage or throwing a punch, the guy that got the belt should be the one that realizes how easy that belt can come off of you. Whatever ails you is your business. But if the car's engine is blown, or it simply can't get from A to Z because it needs air in the tires, to the rest of the world, to the functions of all the rest of the world, what difference does it make?